A Life of Rebellion. Albert Camus and his philosophical journey. Camus' life was a testament to the power of thought and the relentless pursuit of truth. Albert Camus, born in Algeria in 1913, was a man of deep thought and rebellion. Growing up in a colonial environment, he was acutely aware of the social and political tensions that shaped his early years. He grappled with the big questions of life and death, freedom and meaning. His early exposure to the harsh realities of life in Algeria fueled his intellectual curiosity and desire to understand the human condition. Camus lived through the tumultuous period of World War II, witnessing firsthand the horrors of conflict and oppression. The war's brutality and the moral dilemmas it posed left an indelible mark on his psyche. These experiences profoundly shaped his worldview, leading him to develop a philosophy known as absurdism. Absurdism, for Camus, was not just a theoretical construct but a lived reality, a way to confront the chaos and suffering he saw around him. Camus argued that the universe is inherently meaningless and indifferent to human suffering. He believed that the search for meaning in a purposeless world was a fundamental human struggle. He believed that traditional philosophical systems offered false hope in the face of this harsh reality. Instead of clinging to illusions, Camus urged people to confront the absurdity of existence head-on. Instead, Camus embraced the absurdity of existence, urging individuals to find freedom and authenticity in a world devoid of inherent purpose. He saw rebellion against the absurd as a way to assert one's humanity and dignity. Camus expressed his ideas through his writing, becoming a leading figure in the existentialist movement. His works were not just philosophical treatises, but also powerful narratives that captured the essence of the human struggle. His works, including The Stranger, The Plague, and The Myth of Sisyphus, explore themes of absurdity, rebellion, and the human condition. These books challenged readers to rethink their assumptions about life and their place in the world. Camus' writings resonated with a generation grappling with the aftermath of war and searching for meaning in a rapidly changing world. His insights into the human psyche and the nature of existence provided a beacon of light in dark times. His powerful prose and thought-provoking ideas continue to captivate readers today, making him one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. Camus' ability to articulate the complexities of the human experience has ensured his lasting legacy. Camus' work remains relevant, offering insights into the human condition and the search for meaning in a world often characterized by chaos and uncertainty. His philosophy of embracing the absurd and finding personal freedom continues to inspire and challenge readers across generations. The Stranger, published in 1942, is a seminal work of existentialist literature that has captivated readers for decades. This novel, written by the renowned French-Algerian author Albert Camus, delves deep into the human condition and explores themes of absurdity, alienation, and the search for meaning in an indifferent universe. Set in the sun-drenched city of Algiers, the novel follows the story of Moursault, an ordinary man who commits a senseless crime. The vibrant and bustling backdrop of Algiers contrasts sharply with Moursault's inner emptiness and detachment. The narrative unfolds through Moursault's detached and unemotional perspective, creating a sense of distance between the reader and the protagonist. This unique narrative style forces readers to confront their own emotions and reactions to the events of the story. The story begins with Moursault receiving news of his mother's death. This event sets the tone for the rest of the novel, highlighting Moursault's indifference to societal norms and expectations. He attends her funeral but displays a striking lack of grief, shocking those around him. His apparent emotional detachment is a central theme of the novel, raising questions about the nature of grief and societal expectations of mourning. Moursault seems more preoccupied with the physical sensations of the sun and heat than with any emotional response to his mother's passing. The oppressive Algerian sun becomes a recurring motif in the novel, symbolizing the indifferent and often harsh nature of the universe. As the story progresses, Moursault becomes entangled in a series of events that culminate in a fateful encounter on a sun-drenched beach. This pivotal moment in the novel is marked by the intense heat and blinding sunlight, which seem to drive Moursault to his breaking point. In a moment of inexplicable violence, he shoots and kills an Arab man seemingly without reason or remorse. This act of violence is both shocking and perplexing, leaving readers to grapple with the motivations behind Moursault's actions. The murder becomes a turning point in the novel, forcing Moursault to confront the consequences of his actions and the indifference of the universe. His trial becomes a spectacle, with the court more interested in his character and beliefs than the actual crime. Throughout his trial and imprisonment, Meursault remains detached and unrepentant. His refusal to conform to societal expectations or show remorse further alienates him from those around him. He refuses to conform to societal expectations or fabricate remorse to appease the court. This defiance is a key aspect of his character, highlighting his commitment to living authentically, even in the face of severe consequences. Meursault's refusal to play the expected role of a grieving son or a remorseful murderer baffles and angers those around him. His actions and attitude challenge conventional morality, forcing readers to question their own assumptions about guilt, innocence, and the nature of justice. His actions and attitude challenge conventional morality, forcing readers to question their own assumptions about guilt, innocence, and the nature of justice. The Stranger remains a powerful and thought-provoking novel, inviting readers to reflect on the complexities of the human experience and the often arbitrary nature of societal norms. The Stranger serves as a powerful exploration of absurdist philosophy. Camus uses the novel to illustrate his belief that the universe is inherently meaningless and indifferent to human existence. The novel's setting, a sun-drenched Algerian landscape, reflects this indifference. The oppressive heat and blinding light create a sense of detachment and disorientation, mirroring Meursault's own emotional state. Meursault's crime, seemingly motiveless and absurd, underscores the randomness of existence. He acts without any clear purpose or justification, highlighting the arbitrariness of human action in an uncaring universe. Throughout the novel, Camus contrasts the indifference of the universe with society's attempts to impose order and meaning. The legal system, with its rigid rules and expectations, represents this futile struggle for order. Meursault's refusal to conform to these expectations exposes the absurdity of seeking meaning in a meaningless world. By embracing the absurd, Camus suggests that individuals can find a sense of liberation. Meursault's acceptance of his fate, despite its injustice, reflects this liberation. He chooses to live in the present moment, experiencing the world with a detached clarity that allows him to see through the illusions of meaning and purpose. Meursault, the protagonist of The Stranger, embodies Camus' ideas about the absurd. He is a character who navigates life with a sense of detachment that is both intriguing and unsettling. His journey through the novel is a profound exploration of existentialism and the human condition. He is a man adrift in a world devoid of inherent meaning, reacting to events with a detached indifference that unsettles those around him. This detachment is not born out of apathy, but rather a deep-seated recognition of the absurdity of existence. Meursault's interactions with the world are marked by a profound sense of isolation and alienation. Meursault's lack of emotional response to his mother's death is perhaps the most striking example of his detachment. While society expects a display of grief and sorrow, Meursault remains indifferent, viewing the event with a cold, almost clinical detachment. This reaction is not due to a lack of love for his mother, but rather an acceptance of the inevitability of death. His casual approach to love and relationships further underscores his alienation. Meursault's relationship with Marie is devoid of the passion and emotional depth that society typically associates with love. Instead, he approaches it with a sense of practicality and physical desire, devoid of any deeper emotional connection. His seemingly motiveless crime, the murder of an Arab man, is another manifestation of his profound alienation from the world and its expectations. The act is not driven by hatred or malice, but rather a moment of irrationality, a reflection of the absurdity that permeates his existence. He lives in the present moment, driven by his physical sensations rather than by any grand narrative or sense of purpose. This focus on the immediate and the tangible is a key aspect of his character, highlighting his rejection of societal norms and expectations. Meursault's detachment is not a sign of cruelty or sociopathy, but rather a consequence of his acceptance of the absurd. He recognizes the futility of seeking meaning in a meaningless world and chooses instead to live authentically, embracing the freedom that comes from rejecting societal norms and expectations. He recognizes the futility of seeking meaning in a meaningless world and chooses instead to live authentically, embracing the freedom that comes from rejecting societal norms and expectations. This choice, however, comes with its own set of challenges and consequences. Meursault's refusal to conform to societal expectations ultimately leads to his downfall. His honesty and refusal to feign emotions that he does not feel make him an outcast in a society that values conformity and pretense. His honesty, while admirable in its own right, proves dangerous in a world that demands conformity and the pretense of remorse. The court system, unable to comprehend or accept Moursoul's worldview, condemns him not for his crime, but for his perceived lack of humanity. The court system, unable to comprehend or accept Moursoul's worldview, condemns him not for his crime, but for his perceived lack of humanity. His refusal to play the game of societal expectations and his insistence on living authentically ultimately seal his fate. Despite his tragic fate, Moursoul remains a compelling and enigmatic figure. He represents the struggle to live authentically in a world that often punishes individuality and nonconformity. His story is a powerful reminder of the cost of true freedom and the courage it takes to embrace the absurd. He represents the struggle to live authentically in a world that often punishes individuality and nonconformity. Moursoul's journey is a testament to the human spirit's resilience and the quest for meaning in an indifferent universe. Moursoul's story serves as a reminder that true freedom often comes at a price, and that embracing the absurd requires a willingness to challenge societal norms and expectations. His life and choices compel us to reflect on our own existence and the ways in which we navigate the complexities of a world that often seems indifferent to our struggles.